What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
What's going on? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are and what you're watching and how you're watching this. Anyway, guys, we're going to talk today about going viral on Facebook, because really that's the big buzz, right? Everyone talks about going viral, whether it's through YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is. Actually, I don't know if you saw in the news, but Britney Spears just cast up Ashton Kutcher as the most
Twitter?
followed person on Twitter.
Oh gosh, it's horrible.
Millions and millions of people on Twitter following her. Anyway,
there are two ways. There's two ways. One way is going viral, and one way is manual growth. So there's two different types of growth.
yeah.
And you could the organic or the man-made kind of thing. We are going to talk just about going viral, viral growth.
Okay.
Today. And what is viral growth, Steve? On Facebook, how do you achieve that?
Well, viral growth is some things that you can do. For example, are it's just when people catch on to what you're doing. They catch on, they see what you're doing, they like what you're doing, and they automatically, because of what it is, the content that they like or whatever, they go ahead and pass it on to their friends pass it on to their friends.
So it's kind of like a movement.
It's kind of like a movement,
A massive social media movement.
Ooh.
No, it's kind of a movement. You've seen those groups or pages on Facebook that are like snowball effect, whatever,
Sure.
First to get 10 million on a page, and that's a perfect example of a viral group. Now there's several ways to go viral, and your objective when you have a Facebook page is to go viral, because you can only sustain manual growth for so long, and you need to depend on your fan base. So when you're making a status update, you should have an objective in mind, and that objective should be, how do I get people to comment? How do I get people to click the like button? And just to get interaction. Again, social media is about the conversation, an online conversation. So, Stephen, how do you get people to make comments, and what does that do?
Sure. So one thing that I've actually learned, there's a gentleman by the name of Larry Benet. If you haven't heard of Larry Benet is a gentleman who considers himself, and actually is known by many, many others, as the relationship guru. And so Larry Benet actually talks to people about how to forge relationships, how to form these in business, and how to move forward that way so that virally things will start to happen. And one of the biggest things that he talks about is when you're introducing yourself or putting yourself out there, you want to brand yourself. And if you've never branded yourself before, it looks a little bit something like this. Hi, my name is Stephen Miller. Come out the Steve Miller Band. Okay? Now, that's my name. I'm Stephen Miller, like the Steve Miller Band. So you probably, by me saying that will plug something into your head. It'll help you understand and realize and remember who I am and how to associate it with what. And that really triggers your mind, actually, because your mind works a lot on association with different things, whether it's music or whatever else. And so by me saying, hey, my name is Stephen Miller, just like the Steve Miller Band, next time you come up to me, you'll be like, hey, Steve Miller, just like the Steve Miller Band.
I remember you.
And so the neat thing about that is when you plug yourself and brand yourself with small little catchphrases like that. Actually, I have a friend, a really close friend, a business partner of mine, who went to this speakers event, a big event for people who are in front of crowds for a lot of time and just trying to train on speaking better and how to get the crowd to come along in different ways. Anyway, it was neat. He was in this group of 500 people. And maybe you have or maybe you haven't heard of Christy Frank, but Christy Frank is one of the females who was on the first episode or first season of The Apprentice with Donald Trump. Christy Frank was at this event, and she was one of the guest keynote speakers. And my friend went up to her, saw her in the hall, and said, "Hey, Christy," and she said, "Do I know you?" And he said, "No. Have a good day." And that's all he said. And it was kind of one of those little things, like everyone else in the whole room was bombarding her with questions, trying to get her to endorse their products and all these other things. And he just kind of said hi and bye. Well, during the event, while she was speaking, and it was she and this other gentleman who were speaking together, my friend made a comment, and he said something to the effect of, the reason why it works up on stage with you two is because you have this connection. You can feel that connection with you and the other presenter. They loved what he said so much, and they loved his comment, and they actually gifted him with a full series, the full series of Miami Vice, or Miami Vice, excuse me.
Advice.
Not Advice. Miami Vice.
Yeah.
And this guy was in love with Miami Vice. Anyway, so my friend got all the seasons of Miami Vice, and throughout the rest of the conference, every time he saw Christy, he said, "Hey, it's Kevin Clayson, the guy who won the Miami Vice. And so he was branding himself every single time he saw her thereafter. Was the guy who won Miami Vice. The neat thing about this is actually at the end of the conference, this is about a week-long conference, at the end of the conference, Christy actually went to him. She pulled him out of the crowd as the most memorable person that she could remember at this event.
Out of hundreds, probably.
Out of 500 people.
Wow.
Out of 500 people.
Powerful.
And now we're actually going to be working with Christy. We're very excited. It's a lot of fun. So, guys,
That's crazy.
the point is you make that relationship, you make the connection, and you brand yourself. And even if you kind of think it's silly right now because you've never done it before, pick something that's unique about yourself. Like, hey, my name is Steven, Steve, like, whatever, Steve Miller Band. Or if your name is Mary something, hey, my name is Mary, Mary Like Christmas, this, like, whatever.
Exactly.
You just brand yourself, you brand your name. So that's one way.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. Again, going back to when you're making a status update, if you ask a question and you're trying to get interaction between your fan base and you, every time they make a comment or click like, it's going to go on their friend's newsfeed.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, they're a part of my fan base. I say, what is your feeling on XYZ? And they make a comment. All of their friends see that they're a fan of Massive Social Media Movement or whatever the fan club is. And they're going to see that, and they're going to join. And if they join, then their friends are going to see that and be like, oh, well, I'm also associated. I kind of like that. That sounds cool. That's a part of me. And they're going to join as well. And then their friends are going to join, and their friends are going to join. So the objective when making a status update on your Facebook page, or even your status updates, is just to get people to comment or click like, just to get them to interact, whether it's 1 time or 10 times. So carry on conversation. Here's another tip. Whenever someone makes a comment on anything, and this is blogging, this is Twitter, this is Facebook, anything, try to respond within 24 hours. Because after that 24-hour point, they're going to be like, I did what? And then you're going to lose that conversation. So don't let the conversation die. So start the conversation and keep it alive. That's how you go viral.
So let's recap real quick. Number 1, brand yourself. Make sure that people know who you are, they know what you're about, and be yourself in your branding. Don't try to be somebody else. I mean, be a little outgoing. And if I'm gonna
try to make yourself different too.
I'm gonna divide this a little bit because I want you to be yourself as much as possible. And if yourself isn't outgoing, well, then you need to become a little bit outgoing. Okay, so be yourself as much as possible. Be outgoing. Say and tweet and blog and Facebook status update.
You need to put yourself out there. It's so huge.
And do interesting things that people will want to read and they'll want to forward on to other people. And through those couple different things, I mean, that's really how you're going to start going viral with your social media network.